Marhaba everyone. Hello everyone. And welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well today. In this lesson, we will be learning how to introduce family members in Arabic, starting with mom. A mom is M. M. My mom, you would say Emme. Emme. And that is because every time you're saying my, it's always the A that you add at the end of the word. So these possessive pronouns in English, my, your, his, hers, they will be translated into these endings that you add at the end of any word. And when you want to say your mom to a male, it will be emmak, emmak. Just like we learned in lesson 1, you ask how are you to a male, كيفك. What's your name? You say شو اسمك. And then in lesson 5, we've learned that asking how was your day to a male is كيف كان نهارك. And your mom to a male is أمك. Whenever you're talking to a male, it's always the ending ak that you add to the word. So, أمي, my mom, your mom to a male, أمك, your mom to a female. Again, just like you say, كيفك, شو اسمك, كيف كان نهارك, and now your mom, أمك. So again, every time you're talking to a female, it's always this ending ik that you add to any word. Your mom to more than one person, كيفكن, كيف كان نهاركن أمكن. The endings that you add every time you're talking to two people or more will be kun. Now, after you know all these endings, all you are left with is learning new words. Simply add these endings to these words depending on who you're saying them to. So moving on to learn how to say a dad is bay. Bay. Say, my dad, it will be بيي. بيي. Your dad to a male, بيك. بيك. Your dad to a female, بيك. بيك. And to more than one person, it will be بيكن. بيكن. Moving on to learning how to say brother, which is خي. خي. My brother is خيي. Your brother to a male. Again, what's the ending that you add whenever you're talking to a male? It's ak. So it will be خيك. خيك. Your brother to a female, as we know already that the ending is ik. So it will be خيك. خيك. And the ending, whenever we're talking to two people or more, is kun. So it will be خيكن. Sister is أخت. أخت. My sister, أختي. أختي. Your sister to a male, أختك. See, now, after you've learned these endings, you know which ending you should add depending on the person you're talking to. So your sister to a female is أختك. أختك. Your sister to more than one person is أختكن. أختكن. Now moving on to son. Son is ابن. ابن. So my son will be ابني. Your son to a male, ابنك. ابنك. Your son to a female, ابنك. ابنك. Your son to more than one person, ابنكن. ابنكن. Daughter is بنت. بنت. And by the way, the word بنت is also the word for girl. So when you want to say a girl in Arabic, the word for it is also بنت. Now, my daughter, بنتي. Your turn to tell me how to say your daughter for a male. Correct. بنتك. بنتك. Your daughter for a female. بنتك. Well done. Your daughter to more than one person. بنتكن. بنتكن. Grandmother is ست. ست. My grandmother is ستة. ستة. Your grandmother to a male. ستك. ستك. A female. ستك. ستك. More than one person. ستكن. ستكن. And the last one, grandfather, which is جد. جد. My grandfather, جدي. جدي. Your grandfather to a male. جدك. A female. جدك. More than one person. جدكن. جدكن. When it comes to introducing uncle and auntie, they will be different if we're talking on father's side to mother's side. Let's start first by learning how to say uncle on father's side. My uncle is عمي. عمي. And you know that we have this A because we're saying my. عمي. My auntie is عمتي. As you noticed, they are the same word. The only difference is that for auntie, we added this T. عمي, عمتي. Now, if you want to say your uncle to a male, you already know the ending. So all we're doing now is learning a new word, and all you'll have to do is simply add the ending related to when you're talking to a male, which is correct, which is ak. So عمي will change to عمك when you're saying your uncle to a male, and عمتي will change to عمتك when you're saying your auntie to a male. عمك, عمتك. And your uncle to a female will be عمك, and عمتك, your auntie for a female. Now your uncle to more than one person will be عمكم, and your auntie will be عمتكن. And now when it comes to introducing cousins, the way you'll introduce them in Arabic is simply by saying the son of my uncle or the daughter of my auntie. We've already learned how to say son and daughter, and we just learned how to say uncle and auntie on that side. So all you'll have to do is simply put them together by saying ibn, amme, and the daughter of my uncle will be bint, amme. And it's going to be the same way when it comes to you introducing your cousins to auntie. So you'll say ibn, عمتي and بنت عمتي. ابن عمتي بنت عمتي. And now let's learn how to introduce them on mother's side. So my uncle خالي, خالي, and my auntie will be خالتي, خالتي. Again, they are the same word. All you're doing is adding a T for خالتي. خالي, خالتي. Let's practice them. When you're saying your uncle to a male, it will be خالك and خالتك when it's your auntie. And to a female, خالك and خالتك. And the last one, your uncle to more than one person, you'll simply add the ending by saying خالكن and your auntie خالتكن. And introducing cousins on mom's side will be exactly the same. All you'll be saying is the son of my uncle, the daughter of my uncle. ابن خالة ابن خالة, the daughter of my uncle. بنت خالة بنت خالة. And for auntie's kids, ابن خالتي ابن خالتي, daughter of my auntie, بنت خالتي بنت خالتي. And it's going to be exactly the same way if you're talking about somebody else's cousin. So let's say you're saying your cousin to a male. You will say ابن خالك or بنت خالتك. ابن عمك بنت عمتك. Moving on to a short practice in which we will be using the words just learned in regards of family members along with other words already learned in previous lessons. So if you haven't watched them already, I recommend that you do to have a better context of the practice that we will be doing next. Just a side note before starting with the practice, for now we just focused and practiced the endings that are related to my, your to a male, to a female, and to more than one person. And this is what we will be focusing on in our practice now. But of course, moving on with the lessons, we will be learning the rest of the endings related to his, hers, ours, and theirs. So let's start with the first sentence. I was at my mom's house in the morning, but now I am at work. Again, all of these words are already learned in previous lessons. أنا كنت ببيت أمي الصبح بس هلأ أنا بالشغل. On Thursday in the afternoon, you were at your son's house after work. الخميس بعد الظهر أنت كنت ببيت ابنك بعد الشغل. The third example, he was at work on Monday night, but I was at dinner at my grandmother's house. هو كان بالشغل التنين عشية بس أنا كنت على عشاء ببيت ستة. You to a female were not at dinner at your uncle's house on Friday night. Let's take here as an example uncle on dad's side. So the sentence will be أنت ما كنت على العشاء ببيت عمك الجمعة عشية. Moving on to the next sentence. I was at my daughter's house on Wednesday. أنا كنت ببيت بنت الأربعة. You to a male were at your dad's house on Saturday night, but on Sunday you were not. أنت كنت ببيت بيك السبت عشية بس الأحد أنت ما كنت. Moving on to the last sentence, you were at your cousin's house earlier. First, let's do cousin on mom's side and let it be the daughter of your uncle. أنت كنت ببيت, daughter is بنت, uncle on mom's side. It's خال, your uncle to a girl will be خالك. So بنت خالك. أنت كنت ببيت بنت خالك قبل. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson and this practice. You can always do your own practice using any word learned in this lesson, combining it with words already learned in previous ones. And if you're enjoying these lessons and you would like to learn more of the non-formal Arabic, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one.